on to the generally, right?
On to the generally. What a sweet sound, on to the generally.
Yes.
For those out there who...
Like the three people who didn't see the story, it's off some web outlet.
Yeah,
yeah, seriously. So, well, we should give a little background. A couple of weeks ago, we posted, as we do often, eBay finds of the day. Our find of the day a couple of weeks ago was none other than John Snyder, a.k.a. Bo Duke, a.k.a. Jonathan Kent, selling his personal 1969 Dodge Charger.
Wait, back up. Why does he have three names? I mean, I understand Bo Duke, but...
Jonathan Kent, he played Clark Kent's dad on...
Oh,
that's
really?
Right.
Wow. You watch Smallville?
I'm sorry, man. I don't watch...
It's a great show. Smallville's a great show. Anyway,
never mind.
Whatever. I think it's the C...
It's the CW.
It's a CW now.
It's all an acronym for nobody cares.
Anyway, so his personal 1969 Dodge Charger in complete General Lee livery. Also updated he adds something new to this thing every year. It's got a giant freaking motor with 725 horsepower.
Wow.
It's got Viper brakes. It's got some trick suspension. I mean, it's a serious road car, regardless of the fact of its history and connection to the show. So he puts it up on eBay, and we thought, oh, cool, the real General Lee. It was actually used in the TV show back in the day. It never used for stunts or anything, because those were all destroyed, but it was also used in the Dukes of Hazzard reunion movie. It was used in John Schneider's self-financed movie. What was it called? Collier and Company, Hot Pursuit. No idea, never heard of it.
Got some vintage to it then.
So, he owned it before he was hired to do the Dukes of Hazzard show.
Oh, you're kidding me. Wow.
Yeah, and he leased it to Warner Brothers to be painted and used in the show.
So it was one of the hero cars in the show, and it's been used for all kinds of stuff.
And then he got it back after the show.
That's awesome.
So it's on eBay, and we thought, oh, that's funny and cool. Yay, good for him. And we had no idea what was going to happen, because as the eBay Motors auction wound down, the car was sold for a winning bid of, let me get the exact price, $9,900,500, which makes this car,
that's the most insane thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
If the final bid was true and honest, it makes this car the second most expensive car ever to be auctioned, behind a 1931 Bugatti Type 41 Royal Sports Coupe that was sold by Christie's
And that was for
in 1987.
Yeah, because,
$11 million.
Yeah, because, this Charger, it's got a lot in common with it.
Well,
With Bugatti.
My God.
1931.
let's take a
Most
step backwards, though.
ridiculous thing I've ever heard of.
Has it been confirmed that the final bidder has put down the deposit, or is...
We haven't found any concrete confirmation, but I've seen reports after the auction ended that that have indicated that he's talked to the winner and that it will be traded hands, implying that it happened and it's a real bid.
Man,
of course, everybody said that it was a false bid, and the auction was actually stopped once at around $6 million because people were putting in false bids. But then eBay just made it so that you had to register in order to bid, and I guess that takes care of that or something.
Interesting.
Now, Alex, you obviously think this is completely ridiculous.
Yes.
I think it's freaking cool, man.
Oh, I have no
sweet
problem with it. I
car.
just think it's insane, Oh,
Well, it's funny because auction experts were saying max this car is like $300,000
or whatever.
Yeah, a couple $100,000 at max, like on a good day, and it hit $9.9 million.
John Schneider is a genius.
And I wish I could say that John Schneider is going to feed the hungry or eradicate a disease somewhere, but he's not. He's actually financing the sequel to his self-financed movie, Collier and Company, Hot Pursuit.
And the
So
budget,
$10 million, which the budget exploded.
it just went up significantly.
Yeah, the budget is now.
At this time, because I've never heard of the first one.
I'm imagining it was a straight-to-video.
Does this seem like, I don't know, it could have been staged just to get publicity? It just seems...
It's possible, but I don't think he messed around with eBay like that.
It's cool, or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think he messed around with eBay like that. I think that's very public. And the
eBay
chances
comes
of
down
getting caught.
hard. Yeah.
Well, I think the chance of getting caught are
Wait
pretty
a
big. And
minute.
then
Let's not. Can we not get carried away? You think eBay cares if it was real or fake as long as the transaction goes through? You know how much much publicity they got off of this?
That's true.
Give me a break.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now they hold a spot for being the purveyor of the second most expensive car auction in history. You know, which I'm sure before it was either Christie's or what was the other auction houses. I forget.
So
But, you know, some snooty auction house.
did you guys ever see Sahara?
Yeah.
Did you actually see that in the theater?
I did not see that.
I haven't seen it in the theater.
Okay,
No.
it sucked.
Because we wrote an
I've
article
seen it.
about that a while ago where I guess Jeep had paid a certain amount of money
Yeah.
for placement in there. I guess
Get
the Wrangler got
place.
stuck.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe they're getting their money back with the Fantastic Four thing.
Well, no. Well, here's what the deal is. That I don't know if the Fantastic Four thing has anything to do. I think that was an Entertainment Weekly article that talked about the whole. There was so much that went on with that Sahara movie. I guess.
I don't even remember the Wrangler in the Sahara movie.
You know,
I remember it in the TV commercial for the Sahara movie.
and that's
weird. I don't remember it at all. So, well, we did a post this past week on the new Fantastic Four movie, which does it? Oh, it does have a tagline: "Rise of the Silver Surfer,"
Right.
and the previews look sweet. But of course, if Dodge hadn't come out with a press release, I probably wouldn't have noticed, at least until I went to the theater and saw the movie. But the amount of product placement for Dodge in this movie is just...
At least, well, no, let's not say in the movie, but at least in the trailer, which happens to show, the stuff that Dodge mentions, that they're doing.
all of it.
I mean, this is kind of an old story because we posted on the fact that the Fantastic car has all these like Dodge cues on it and stuff. And then,
But we didn't know to the extent what they were talking about.
right? We knew that there were Dodge logos on the seats and stuff, and has the Ram logo on the seats. And then what happened was, here's how it went. John and I were talking. We'll peel back the onions of how the blog happens. John and I were talking. We're iming back and forth. And John had seen the new Fantastic Four trailer, and I hadn't. And he goes, "Oh, you have to see it. There's one part. It's so distracting. The Dodge placement is so prominent because you have the thing. He picks up a Ram, which is parked between a Grand Caravan and a Durango, and he's like, it's so obviously a placement thing. So I went back and I reread the original press release, and actually in the original press release they mentioned the fact that the Ram Mega Cab, which is the one that he lifts up, and the Durango are both in the movie. And when I went back to check, there was a different picture of the Fantastic car that is head-on shot, and it has the Dodge Ram logo on the front. It has a crosshair grille, and it has it's they're flying, they're the Fantastic Four's flying car, which does all kinds of wonderful magical things, and it's a Dodge, in every sense of the word.
totally possible.
I mean, you have to assume it was hand built by the lead character of the Fantastic Four. I don't even know his name.
It was Reed Richards.
Reed
Richards or Reed Richards.
And
as a corporate sponsor or whatever.
Right. You got a corporate sponsor with Dodge to provide dice bucket seats and to design it in a wind tunnel.
The best thing, though, is in the new trailer, you see the Fantastic car do its thing where it can split into 3 segments. Each segment has the Dodge Ram badge on the front of the car.
That's so bad.
If you go on and watch the trailer on QuickTime and you sort of frame by frame it as it splits, you see this super prominent badge on the front of the second segment that the Invisible Girl is driving.
That when it gets to that point, I think it really hurts a movie. I mean, not that the Fantastic Four is the most serious drama ever made, and its integrity is going to be called into question.
It's a fun movie,
But at the same time, X-Men did it really, really well when it had the RX-8, and they drove that as one of the X-Men cars.
Yeah.
But you go too far.
There's placement and everything now.
But you can go too far. Do you remember the movie Armageddon with Bruce Willis and all? And Affleck?
That BMW.
And they had one of their space vehicles, the space that they used to crawl on the asteroid, had a big Swiss Army logo on it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like Swiss Army doesn't produce asteroid crawling, rock vehicles. I really don't know what product they could contribute to this.
Are we actually discussing the feasibility of anything that happened in Armageddon? I mean, is that where the podcast has gone? Because we're landing space shuttles on jagged asteroids.
All right.
This podcast has gone so far off right now.
All right, we gotta go to the next segment. The next segment